Hi everybody, it's Andrea, Late Night Live with Andrea Shive, y'all. I was literally in bed reading, and I am so in love with this book that I had to come live and read the first chapter with you guys because it is that good. If you know me, you know that I'm a quantum coach and spiritual mindset mentor, a mompreneur of 4. I decided to become a coach almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago next month, January 2020. And it has been an incredible journey since then, you guys. And I have learned so much and grown so much in those 3 years. It's flipping mind-blowing. So I'm going to read from this book, you guys. This book is so good. And it's what I talk about, the ascension, elevating our consciousness from 3D out of fear and survival and moving into a new earth that has been prophesized and promised that we bring to earth. We bring it here through us. We're infinite, eternal souls, spiritual beings having a human experience. Hi Kathy, hi Cindy, hello. Okay, so I am super excited about this book because it resonates with me on a soul level. And I'm going to read the first chapter, you guys. So I'm going to drink some water real quick before I start. So here it is. The Infinite Human, an Ascension Guide for Awakening Infinite Humans, Starseeds, TwinSouls, and the Co-Creators of the new Infinite 5DEarth. We're moving back to Spirit. We're returning home to that which we have come to know as God, which is love. That's all it is, you guys, and it's within us and is us. On the deepest of levels, we are pure, unconditional love and light. Spiritual beings having a human experience. Alright, so I'm going to read the foreword. There is emerging on the face of the earth a new human, an infinite human, and that human is you. And she writes you in capital letters. And my YouTube is Conspiracy Realist Universe with a capital YOU, because I say not only are we in the universe, but the universe is inside of you and me and everyone, right? These words spilled out onto the page of a paper I was writing over 30 years ago. Let me turn this music down in the background a little bit. It's probably a little... She was writing a paper over 30 years ago, and these words came out while she was working towards her master's in mental health counseling. Shortly after that, my computer was struck by lightning. I managed to recover the paper and turned it into my professor, who called the idea kooky. But the idea stuck, and it has taken the form of this book, which relates to current world events and the consciousness war on the planet. There is a war on human consciousness. Consciousness is the only reality, and it can be manipulated through mind control and psychology, and we have unknowingly come into agreement with the powers that be and the narrative of the world as we know it today. But this is not just my story, but the story of my twin soul, Peter Monroe, a physician, and how he tried to change the course of modern medicine. It is a love story, a hero's journey. We're all here to have the hero's journey. The hero's journey is you are born, right? It's the story, the common theme in movies. There's like the main character. They go through trials and tribulations and challenges. They fight the bad guy, and what happens in the end? They overcome and they win, right? That's the common storyline. Same with us. We come to go through things to grow and hopefully at some point awaken to a happier ending, what we would consider, right? And so the human journey. It's an alchemist memoir of two broken souls who manage to find each other against all odds, heal their past wounds, and create an eternal love that survived even death. But above all, this is your story of the true freedom that only comes through organic ascension, of the power that comes to those who awaken from the dream spell to co-create the infinite new earth in the higher dimensions. This is all a dream, right, guys? This book offers full disclosure of the truth behind the lies that have been hidden in plain sight, so you can heal while taking you on an amazing spiritual journey around our planet and into higher dimensions of esoteric knowledge, supernatural phenomenon, and cosmic disclosure to awaken you to the truth that you are all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. You are infinite. An unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates said that, one of my favorite philosophers. He also said, the secret to change is not to focus your energy on fighting the old, but on creating the new, right? Because we're energy, what we focus on, we flow towards. What you focus on expands. Where focus goes, energy flows. So my story begins on the island of Manhattan in New York City, where I was born. The same year Fidel Castro took over Cuba, the Dalai Lama fled Tibet. Aldous Huxley warned the medical community about the dangers of future medicine. Walt Disney released Sleeping Beauty. NASA announced its selections of America's first astronauts. And the Presbyterian Church accepted women preachers. My parents named me Elizabeth Lee Steer. Elizabeth meaning God's house of light. Lee meaning poet or healer. And Steer meaning star or to steer. When I married Peter, I took on the name Monroe, which means my king, or in my case, my queen. Women who take on the name of their husband join in on their soul mission. This is his story, as well as mine. Your name as it appears on your birth certificate is your logos, which will guide you to your life's purpose. If you look closely, every soul has set up signs and symbols to help them remember who they are and why they came to earth. They are in the letters of your name, the lines of your hands, the bumps on your head, the numerology and astrology of your birth chart, even the bumper sticker on the back of the car in front of you. The signs, the synchronicities are everywhere when you begin to awaken, guiding you back home, right? But it's within you. It's guiding you back here, right? So they're everywhere. My job, your job is to properly interpret them. My job is to assist people in their own inner healing through my words, serving as a guiding star, steering them back to the kingdom of infinite God, source within. This is my logos. Logos is your purpose, your mission in life. And I believe this is my mission. My personal mission statement is to transform the world one person at a time, starting with myself. And I created that like 3 years ago, right? And or a little more probably. And I've been working on myself ever since. Okay? And I have seen massive transformation and so much more yet to come. And so let's continue reading. I did not know it then, but I was to be a brilliant light in a world of great darkness. Though many times my light was doused and my divine creative sparkle smothered, I always reignited it. And she says here, dedication. This book is dedicated to the divine infinite source within us all. Namaste. That's what namaste means, you guys. The divine within me bows to the divine within you. The light within me recognizes the light within you. To namaste means to see everybody as they truly are, as the infinite divine source energy that they truly are, which is love, which is God on the deepest of levels. We're all love, right? Pure unconditional love and light, right? Now, this is where it blew my mind, because the first flippin' sentence, chapter 1, the divine storyteller. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. You guys, I literally quote that flippin' scripture all the dang time. And I came across the revelation that what is word? Frequency, vibration. You are speaking it. God spoke the universe into existence. We also speak things into existence. There's power in this written and spoken word. The power of life and death is in the tongue, right? It says, we are all just stories in the mind of God, the divine storyteller, which is what I teach as a quantum coach. Hermetic principles. The Hermetic principle number 1 is all is mind. The universe is mental. It's one consciousness, one infinite field of pure creative conscious energy, creating all things, you guys. Okay? The divine storyteller. The further we stray from the original word, which is God, or the vibrational frequency of God's source, the more our life story begins to unravel. God is love, the highest frequency in the universe. When you vibrate on the frequency of love, you are one with the source, right? The more pain, suffering, and confusion we experience until the prodigal son, like the prodigal son, we decide to return home to the vibrational frequency of infinite God source within. So the further you stray from love, you experience pain and suffering and sorrow, right? Because you're low on the vibrational scale, okay? We're moving out of that 3D fear, survival, pain, lack, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness into these higher vibrations of joy, love, peace, and gratitude. And on a massive scale, I believe it's happening right now, okay? And I know this is my purpose to help guide others. I was recently told that I am a multidimensional guide to help people, guide them on multidimensional timelines. As a quantum coach, I understand now that means there are infinite potential and options available to us to create in the quantum field, right? And so I help guide you to your highest timeline, for your highest self, for the greatest good of all, and for all of humanity at this time. But man, this is mind-blowing stuff, you guys. But to continue on, for years, I have worked with film students using the mythic story structure that Joseph Campbell so intuitively captured and wrote about in his books. He explained that inherent in all myths, legends, novels, films, and stories since the beginning of time, there exists a mythic structure, which he called the hero's journey. It is really an alchemist's journey to transmute what Carl Jung referred to as our shadow self. Doing the shadow work, you guys, bringing up that stuff, fighting our own demons, right? My thing actually back here says, shine as lights, let your light shine so brightly that others can see their way out of the darkness, right? We've been living in darkness, in these lower vibrations, but that's all changing at this time in history, right? So we get to transmute it. We go through the alchemy, right? There's 3 steps to alchemy. You must first go through the black, the dark night of the soul, and bring everything up. And then the white, you must purify it. And then the red, you integrate it. And it becomes part of you and your new being, your new self. You level up in consciousness. You've heard the term, there's levels to this, you guys. This is human evolution. This is what we come here for spiritual growth and soul evolution, so that we can grow and expand on a spiritual level, right? So, where was I? According to this renowned psychiatrist, all humans possess a shadow self. This is the part of us where our deepest, darkest fears, anger, grief, sorrow, traumas, and wounds fester until we have the courage to bring them out of the darkness and into the light, to be transmuted, right? When the main character faces and transmutes his or her own shadow self, it is called a comedy. But when the darkness overpowers the main character and he or she succumbs to the inner flaws, never transmuting the shadow within, we call it a tragedy? Which story are you writing? Is your current life story a comedy or a tragedy? How do you see the world around you? Is it a cold, cruel world? A dangerous world? A heartless world? What type of character have you chosen to play? Are you the hero in your own life story, the leading man or lady, or are you supporting a character in someone else's life story, a sidekick? Are you a people pleaser? Are you living your life for others? Do you take care of everybody but yourself? Do you constantly seek validation from others? Do you feel unworthy, unloved, abandoned, fearful, not enough? Are you swimming in a sea of shame and guilt? Are you playing the victim? Are you repeating the same old story over and over again, stuck, not knowing how to change? Are you longing for something new to happen, but not sure how to write it? Or perhaps you are soul weary. Perhaps you just long for an end to your life story. Perhaps you don't even care how the story ends anymore. Maybe your life story has no real meaning, no connection to the world, to others, to God, or to your authentic self. You have no sense of purpose. You're lost, right? So many people are. Because we're not taught what we truly are, you guys. You are the hero at the beginning of the great story. You're born a pure creative spirit, and in the world, the things, we agree to these things, though. We agree to come here to experience these things, you guys. Like, you, like all heroes, are filled with flaws and defects, as well as amazing gifts and talents. And what is a story without a good villain? In fact, any good writer knows that the stronger the villain or antagonist, the greater the character arch or growth of the hero, right? You go through challenges so you can grow. You don't just go through it, you grow through it, right? Take a moment to determine whether this statement is true. Have you had people or experiences come into your life that you thought were horrible? Yet in these times of great difficulty and challenge, haven't you had to reach deep inside of yourself and find out just what you were made of? Haven't all the challenges you faced in life made you a better person, taught you a valuable lesson? Or have you remained bitter? Have you allowed your deepest, darkest fears, pain, and sorrows to remain hidden, festering like pus inside a womb? There is really only one story. The story is always the same, but the people, places, and situations change. Our hero may be a handsome young man in a galaxy far, far away, dreaming of adventure, or a humble hobbit dreaming of his next meal, when adventure comes knocking at his door. All heroes' journeys are ultimately the same journey back home, to the original word or vibrational frequency of infinite God's source. It is the prodigal son's return to the Father, the fool's navigation of the terror, major arcana, the alchemist's transmutation of lead into gold. We are all students here on this Earth campus, just walking each other home. I hope in the sharing of my life story, this book will serve as an impetus for you to embark on your own supernatural journey of inner healing, transmutation, ascension, and to drink from the elixir of life that holds the knowledge of truth. Truth, you guys. Story creates meaning to our lives and allows us to learn and grow, to share our experiences, to know ourselves better, and to appreciate the spiritual journey we call life. The curative effect of the genuine sharing of our story, the exposing of our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses, and the bringing forth of our dark side into the light was known to the ancient Greeks. They performed their stories in amphitheaters as part of a religious festival that the entire community would participate in. These festivals would last days, even weeks, and contain moments of climax followed by a catharsis or release for the purification of the mind, body, and spirit. In this manner, the townspeople would purge themselves of toxins they had physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, often weeping and vomiting, kind of like plant medicine. You ever heard of people who go on like ayahuasca retreats and stuff, and they like vomit because a whole bunch of stuff starts to come up into your awareness, your demons, your things? Some of that stuff, you're like, wow, that, and you become aware of it and just, bleh, right? Your whole reality just shifts in that moment. So, where was I? They would perform this in ancient Egypt, this purging ceremony. So this healing, detoxifying power of story is described by Aristotle in the Poetics as tragedy having a helpful and humanizing effect on the spectator. Perhaps we don't have to weep and vomit on one another, but certainly there is a healing effect as well as a deep bond formed by those who openly and intimately share their deepest, darkest secrets, those who unbosom their souls, free others to follow. You've heard it before, like you give yourself permission to be yourself, you give other people permission. It's okay to be you, right? We're all just here to live our true nature and purpose. You're a pure creative spirit, and you get to express that creativity in the most authentic way possible. You get to be you. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. William Shakespeare. It's just a big stage, you guys. It's a dream. We're all writing our own story. Let's not take it so serious. Let's start to have a little bit of fun with life. Stop worrying so much, right? That's how we're going to create real change. Once we start to really shift our energy, the energy of the planet, right? Story creates meaning. Okay, so I read that already. So with that said, I will quote my husband, Peter. Everything is sacred and nothing is sacred. The point being that once you become too attached to your story, it may be time to loosen the grip. We're all just telling stories of why our life is like this and why we can't change it and why the world is like this and blah, 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 blah. We all have our own individual stories, and then we have a collective story or narrative of the world, which ties in with there being that war on consciousness. When the majority agree on a world of war, poverty, sickness, scarcity, lack, division, not enough to go around, competition, those things exist because we create them. My post a couple weeks ago, evil only exists because we create it. Y'all ain't ready to hear that, though. Most people aren't ready to hear that. I didn't create that. I have nothing to do with that. It's all started first and foremost in our minds. Okay, we agree that's just the way the world is. There's nothing we can do about it. We're powerless. It's out of our control. There's something outside of me that's controlling and creating everything. It's not me. Right? Because that's how we're conditioned, to think that we're powerless, that we have no control, that we need this authority outside of us to control us, when really, we're sovereign. And we don't need any authority outside of ourselves. We're spiritual beings. And we've unknowingly been enslaved in these systems that are currently crumbling behind the scenes as the new earth continues to come in, because this time has already been prophesied and promised, and there's no stopping it. Right? So, story creates meaning in our lives and allows us to learn and grow, to share our experiences, to know ourselves better, and to appreciate this spiritual journey we call life. Oh, I read all that. I'm sorry. So where was I? Time to detach from your story. Time to take a step back and see things from a higher perspective. You are not your story. You are merely playing a part. If you can approach your life story from the third person omnipresent, you will find the inner power to become the divine storyteller and co-create a new divine version of yourself in unison with the divine word vibration, which is God. You will hold the pen that writes your life story. You will become the finger of God, writing words that are in harmony with the vibrational God source frequency, while leaving your own unique fingerprint with every word you write. Then you can change your life story and change the world. The baby's waking up, you guys. Let me see if I can grab him and bring him over here with me. So, yeah, I want to keep reading. See if I can get through this chapter. Hey, bro. Hey. Alright, so, okay. Where were we? We're all playing a part, right? So we can choose. We're co-creators. So we can choose to create a more beautiful world, right? And align with God's source energy, which is love. We vibrate on the frequency of love. We're one with God, the source. So we all hold the pen. We're writing our story. Let's see. We can change the world. You can erase the past mistakes and rewrite your own ending. But here's the rub. You must first understand, heal, and transmute the life lessons you have created for yourself in order to free yourself and loosen the grip of karma. Karma, you just keep, if you don't get the lessons, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. When you came here, part of your story was to learn Earth's collective story. This is why we read books, watch plays, see films, and listen to other people's stories to better understand the collective human story, which is what I was just talking about, the common theme or narrative, right? But many of you have forgotten that your job was not to become part of the fallen Earth story. We got stuck in 3D. Somewhere along the way, we forgot who we truly are. Love, right? You came here to be a hero, to guide humanity out of the darkness. You came here with your own unique story, plot, and theme to be a light. But many of you have had to dim your brilliant light to fit into this world of darkness. Perhaps you have been raised by wounded parents, indoctrinated into a broken society, sound familiar? And let other people's perspectives, opinions, and stories bleed into your own life story, infecting your every intention like a virus. Perhaps you have joined humanity in the lower frequencies of the broken finite Earth, 3D, in fear and survival, victim, unforgiveness, bitterness, guilt, shame, resentment, right? Perhaps the insidious and infectious infiltration of Earth's dream spell has taken your words from infinite God's source and quietly reversed these words into swords used as weapons against you. We are not taught about the power of our word. Therefore, we're using our words against ourselves and we do not even know it. We're unaware of it. These words have convinced you that you are a victim, a martyr, or a villain and cannot change your story. Perhaps these words have perverted your story's theme, hijacked your plot, and made you into a sidekick in someone else's story rather than the hero in your own life story. Words are magic. Words hold frequencies and can be used for either good, God, or the devil, evil. It all depends on who is holding the magic pen. Words can harm you or heal you. The Bible says, by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Power of life and death is in the tongue, right? You can speak life or you can speak death over yourself and others. It all depends who is holding the magic pen. Words can harm you or heal you. Words can empower, liberate, illuminate, educate, inspire, and expand your consciousness. Words can direct you closer to the truth of the unspoken word, which is the vibrational frequency of infinite God's source, or they can be used as weapons to confuse, embroil, ensnare, and entrap your consciousness into their finite narratives of fear and powerlessness. They would love us all to continue to believe that we do not have power, but we are awakening and taking our power back. Hence, we can see the truth behind the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. This all demonstrates the ancient alchemy premise, thought directs energy, or energy goes where attention flows. We've all heard that, right? The first thing any child learns in school is how to spell. The definition of the word spell is a spoken word or form of words which holds magic power. The definition of abracadabra is, hold on a second, you guys, I'm falling back asleep. Abracadabra literally means I create with the words that I speak. I create with the words that I speak. So when it says the first thing we learn is how to spell. And the power of words hold magic power. So spelling, or the art of casting spells, is the first thing taught, you guys. It is important to note that in the English language, each word has multiple meanings, so people can easily say one thing and mean another. People who are under a spell or spellbound are hypnotized to see only what those who cast the spells want them to see. The storyteller, the writers of words, the caster of spells, directs the words or thoughts in a certain direction. The storyteller keeps the reader's mind contained in the narrative of the story, which is what's happening on a massive scale. We're giving our power to the narrative of the world, that war, poverty, sickness, scarcity, lack, division, right? We believe it to be true, and so it is. We give it our power and we create it, you guys. So we have the power to change it by taking our power back and taking our focus off of that world and focusing on the new infinite 5D, 3D world, which is where we are moving into, right? So the storyteller keeps the reader's mind contained in the narrative of the story, and they can only see what they want them to see and only go where the speller directs them with the wave of their magic pen. The reader is spellbound to the confines of the world, the plot, the story, and the narrative. They cannot see outside the finite architecture of the words that make up the pages that move the plot forward. If you add an S to the words, you have swords. If you add an S to words, you have swords. The Bible talks about a double-edged sword, right? So you can see that the word or the pen is indeed mightier than the sword. The intention of my words is to ignite the spark of divine truth within you, to arouse the power that lies sleeping, to awaken the divine dreamer, the divine storyteller. My goal is to expose the underlying virus that has infected you and bring you back to the truth of the unspoken vibrational frequency of the word, which is God within you. Love is the only truth, and it's within you, and is you, and is all things. And we've only created fear. Fear is an illusion, false evidence appearing real, you guys. Bring you back to that truth. I will do this through the antidote of truth, full disclosure of the lies that have been spun around you to keep you asleep in the dream spell. We on earth are on the verge of a great new story, a great awakening. If you've all heard about this, right? I mean, if you're watching this, maybe if it resonates, let me know. Drop me some hearts or something. But we're in the great awakening. In aha moments that will jolt the collective in a way never before experienced. But this can only happen if you, the divine infinite dreamer, awaken from the dream spell that has been cast over you to keep you spellbound, asleep in the dream, and unable to awaken your true power within. So when we awaken in the dream, this is when it's going to start to get fun, you guys. So we realize more of our power. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all the pity nor wits shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all the tears wash out a word of it. Omar Khayyam. But you can change your story. You are the writer of your story, right? The Alchemist, the author of the book The Alchemist, said, create a new story for your life and start living it, or imagine a new story for your life and start living it, right? So you can change it. You're the writer. You hold the pen, or do you? Many of us think we hold the pen, but do we really? Are we letting someone else hold the pen of our life story? Are you allowing yourself to be defined, manipulated, hypnotized, mind controlled by something or someone outside of you, a partner, a family member, a friend, a spiritual teacher? Are you permitting your culture, your government, your vocation, your sex, your age, your race, your religion to define who you are and what you can and cannot do? Where is there an insidious virus poisoning the real story that you have come to earth to write? Many people believe they do not hold the pen of their life, but God does. But if God is omnipresent or present in all things, doesn't this mean that God is also present in you? Yes, duh. So, therefore, Where was I? Where was I? This chapter is almost over and I am jumping off, you guys. So let's see. Doesn't this mean that you too are omnipresent? Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I can adjust this. I'm gonna feed him so I can continue to read. Hold on, baby. Okay. Here. 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 So, and this is what I teach as a quantum coach. God is within you and is all things, right? It's an infinite, eternal quantum field of pure creative conscious energy. And based on what we're putting out into the field is what we're getting back. Most of us are creating unconsciously. We're unaware of our power, right? So it's time to take our power back. But let's finish this so I can jump off. But, so where was I? So it's within you. Doesn't this mean that you too are omnipresent voice of God writing your story? But first you must match the words to the vibrational frequency of God's word. You must merge with the divine infinite storyteller and become one with God. When you can awaken to the truth by surrendering your finite self to your infinite self, you will know that you are God, all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. And that's super duper controversial, guys, but it's what it boils down to. God is love, and it's what you are. Infinite, pure, unconditional love and light. Oh. So, where was I? Dun, dun, dun. You can then take back the magic pen of your life story, step into your power as divine infinite storyteller of your own life, and become the infinite human being God intended you to be. So the work is to become an alchemist and transmute your life story. Then you can cancel and wash out every word that is not in atonement or at one meant with the original vibrational God frequency, which is love. This is a journey home, which can take many lifetimes or can happen in the blink of an eye. The reason being that there is no time. Time is an illusion. Time doesn't exist beyond this 3D reality, you guys. You've heard God's timing is different or something like that, right? Time is a construct here in the 3D world. Beyond the 3D, time and space is infinite and eternal. Okay, so the reason being that there is no time. Time is an illusion. We use time to create story, to make meaning of our lives. What does exist is an infinite number of parallel realities, which I just went live earlier today talking about quantum jumping. Parallel realities, parallel moments, and parallel versions of you. Somewhere in the quantum field exists a version of you that has everything that you desire, and you can quantum jump and get there really, really fast, you guys. Really, really fast. So, I keep losing my spot here. Where was I? In the blink of an eye, the reason being, these separate realities are like distinct and separate pictures of frames in a movie. When we splice the frames together, we create the illusion of time through moving pictures. These movies create our life story. So your story is simply a series of framed moments or choices. The Akashic Records is coming to mind. It's all just pictures of memories. The only thing that exists is the present moment, and each moment exists simultaneously throughout infinite time and space on multiple timelines and different dimensions. Every possible version of you is out there, right? So, your story is simply a series, blah, blah, blah. Each moment in time is like a pearl. When all strung together, make up a necklace. When these strands of pearls or threads are woven together, they create the tapestry of time. You can choose to step into a higher vibratory version of yourself or a lower one. Likewise, you can step onto a higher timeline of Earth's future or a lower one. One of ascension or one of descension, you guys. So you can elevate or you can fall down. There's levels to this again, right? So how do you ascend in frequency? Thought directs energy. Imaginer the new optimal version of yourself and step into it. But in order to maintain that higher vibratory version of yourself, you must heal all your past wounds and traumas so your triggers will not pull you back into the lower frequencies. This is like literally what I was talking about on my live earlier about how our old identities pull us back and the versions of ourselves, the past, the aspects of our consciousness, old identities, people pleaser, the controller, the wounded child, the traumatized aspect of ourselves, they pull us back, right? So you must heal your shadow self and learn all the lessons that they are gifting you. I know nobody likes to return to painful moments in their lives, but unless you have fully integrated these life lessons, you cannot graduate from the Earth School and move into the next vibrational frequency. All creation moves in spirals. Of course, not really the Fibonacci sequence, right? The Fibonacci sequence. This goes by something else, the golden ratio, right? It's all in spirals. So, love listening to this. I would like to know more about alchemy. Oh yeah, thank you, Ali. Yes, so that's, my coaching is magic, miracles, and alchemy. I believe it's all the same, right? Magic, Jesus turned water to wine, supposedly. Someone say it's a miracle. Some might say it's magic, right? Alchemy is using the power of love to transmute a negative to a positive to create miracles in your life consistently. A miracle is simply a shift in perception from fear to love. You're just taking your pain, your experience, and you're transmuting it into wisdom and knowledge for more joy and satisfaction. You're taking your pain, you're turning it into purpose and power, right? So you must heal, right? If you're having trouble maintaining this higher version of yourself, then it is a sign that you have not completely healed these painful experiences and learn the lessons that they're gifting you. So I know nobody likes to return to painful moments in their lives, but unless you fully integrate, or I said that already, then you won't be able to level up, so to speak, right? All creation moves in spirals. You may feel you're repeating the same lesson over and over again, but if you look closer, the pain or discomfort you feel around the subject is diminishing, and you are receiving help to fully integrate these lessons into your life. It is in the accepting, feeling, understanding, learning, and loving our pain that we free ourselves. Love is the magic ingredient that transmutes all. Choose love, guys. Love is the answer. Love is the magic ingredient that transmutes all. This is necessary to move beyond the confines of your finite self. Your finite human self thinks that fear is real and anger is real. We come here to experience these things and we create them in our minds. And in truth, the only thing that exists is love, which is God. That's it. Take a deep breath. Holy shift, and allow that to process. So you might find yourself repeating the same thing over and over again until you get it, right? The whole purpose is to turn that pain into purpose and power. When the lessons are learned, when tests are passed, you graduate, you move up to the next grade, you level up. New level, new devil. And then you might run into something else that comes up into your experience that you got to work through. But the whole point is to be able to master energy and master your gifts and become a stronger, more powerful creator and manifester. So when things arise in your experience, you have the tools and the knowledge to transmute them right away. Learning the process of alchemy, right? Which is what I coach on. And meant all this stuff, you guys. So this book is just so much confirmation. I'm so grateful to my friend who posted about it, and I can't wait to continue to read it, and I'll most likely be sharing. This chapter is almost done, so I'm going to end with this chapter for the night. But love is the magic ingredient, right? And so it is in this way we transmute ourselves from lower vibrational frequencies or versions of ourselves into higher refined versions aligned with the vibrational frequency of infinite God's source, thus becoming one with God. When we realize the truth, I and the Father are one. So Jesus said, I and the Father are one. Right? In your life story, you may create a tragedy or a comedy. It makes no difference to God, the divine storyteller. The whole purpose of these stories in the mind of God is for you to better know yourself. The divine storyteller within you creates characters, plots, themes, and catharsis. What is that word, guys? I have never seen that word in my life. For you to better know yourself or itself, right? To meditate literally means to know thyself, to go within. And what does the Bible say? I got the verse right here. Be still and know that I am God. I am. You are. We're one consciousness. Take a deep breath and allow that to process, you guys. So, are you creating a tragedy or comedy in your life? What is your current life story? Are you feeding into the narrative of the 3D world? Or are you sending into higher levels of consciousness and awakening to your infinite power and potential within you? Because namaste. What is within me is within you. The divine within me bows to the divine within you. The light within me recognizes the light within you. There was a part in the book earlier, I forget what it had said, and I said, it's you, it's all, it's me, it's you. I am. I am is the only truth. That realization. And then it's what you place after I am that you become. Most people, I am broke, I am fearful, I am this, I am that, I don't have, we don't understand our power. When the only truth is, I am love, I am light, I am peace, I am one with God. When we vibrate on these higher frequencies, we are one with God, the source, which is love, which is vibration and frequency, the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was made flesh. It's frequency, vibration, you guys. So, we all come here to awaken to this, to learn, to grow, and expand. And God's source then plays out all the roles, because after all, God is infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent. God's playing all the roles. Namaste. Namaste. It's within me. It's you. We are it. We're all creating this, you guys. It plays all the major characters and minor characters and will continue rewriting the same story over and over again until you, the main character, say, there's gotta be something better and I want it. Then you must create it. This is the story of the hero, the heroine, the shaman, the alchemist. Thus, this is my story, your story. This is the story of the hero's journey home. It's all of our stories. We all come here to awaken, to remember who and what we actually are on a deep soul level. Because who actually freaking knows what the heck all of this actually really is, you guys? I can tell you from my experience, my beliefs as a quantum coach, and what I teach and preach, and not just teach and preach, but I do my best to live by it, which is love. That is what I have come to know is the truth. God is love, the only truth. Everything else is an illusion. When we realign our thoughts, our words with that truth, love, we change everything. The game changes. We move out of fear, we move out of survival, and we begin to ascend into the higher vibrations. And this is how we are going to bring the new earth here. It's already here. You can choose to start to move into these new higher vibrations here and now. It's happening on a massive scale. So I believe that this, I've been talking about this for years, and now it's all coming together so incredibly magically in miraculous ways that I never could have imagined or fathomed. I am mind blown, you guys. So that was chapter 1. I'm not going to get into any more because I got the baby here and he did fall back asleep and it is pretty late. So chapter 2 is all about her story, the author. And then I'm going to just tell you, see what it gets into. It talks about what is the infinite. It talks about mind control. There's a whole chapter on mind control, which I'm super excited because there is a war on human consciousness. We've been trained and conditioned to live in fear and poverty and scarcity and lack. And we have the opportunity to break free from all of that and rise into this new earth. We can take our power back. These agreements and these things that we have unknowingly come into agreement with, and that we're giving our power, that we are creating. We are the only ones that can create real and lasting change in the world. Nothing outside of us is coming to save us. It's all within. We must be the change that we wish to see in the world. It starts with each and every one of us individually, and then we create a ripple effect in consciousness, and it's going to expand out, and eventually, collectively, together, we are this new body. We are this higher elevated, the body of Christ, or the mind of Christ. We're moving into this new earth, which I believe is heaven on earth, right? So there's a chapter titled, Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. What is God? And No Religion 2. TwinSouls, The True Creation Story. One World Order. That, when I read that, that brings up some things, because, you know, we're taught the New World Order, right? We're taught like that's a potentially bad thing. So, right? Meeting our spiritual teachers, losing my twin soul, living again, hooray for Hollywood family, the truth about spiritual teachers, creation, cycles of creation, ascension, and the great year, the false ascension matrix. That should be a good chapter, you guys. The false ascension matrix. The great work of ascension, lockdown in Italy, 2020 vision, smearing honey over pus. Oh, smearing honey over pus. She means trying to sweep your ugliness and your darkness under the rug instead of actually doing the work. Smear, because you remember earlier she said, are your limiting beliefs and things festering like pus, right? So smothering honey over pus. And then the new infinite earth, you guys. I could probably stay on all night and read this entire book. I got the baby here. I'm going to jump off. You guys, I do have coaching offers. I got links in the comments, or if you want to know more about ways you can work with me, my whole boob is sticking out, please reach out and I'll be happy to answer all of your questions. I'm going to jump off and get to bed for the night if I can. I'm like super excited about so many things. I'm so grateful. Thank you for being here. I hope that this served you well. You received value. If so, share it out, you guys. Reach out if you have questions about anything. Truth, love, and lights. And happy namaste. Bye, guys. Good night, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.